Hey, what's going on, beautiful ladies and smooth gentlemen? This is Malik, the Cool Brother. You now to the end to the Cool Podcast, and my special guests, two special guests this evening. I got a pleasure meeting these two gentlemen via Facebook. You know they doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? They're about to drop an album. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna discuss that and then some. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. J.P. Pitt and Mr. Bars Blackman. Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Hello,
Hello.
thanks for having us.
No
Yes,
doubt,
thank
no
you.
doubt, no doubt. My pleasure's all mine. So won't you tell the listeners what y'all do and what y'all about? One of y'all can start it off. It doesn't matter.
You can take
You,
it, Joe.
all right. Well, once again, I'm Bars Blackman, half BB Guns. As far as what we do, we mix a little bit of this and a little bit of that in the pot, and come and make songs. We have a lot of eclectic influences. Hip hop is always the core of it, but we also try to blend in elements of indie rock, punk rock, house music, and even some different, more folky sort of sounds on this new album. And we just go ahead, find ways to go put it together, make it cohesive, add our bits and bobs to it, and call it a day.
Nice, 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 nice. And how did y'all came up with the group name BB Guns?
I think I remember that we had an old name that was like both of our names combined, and it was not as good, and we needed to change. We just wanted like one word name. That's what we were really like focused on, and there's not very many bands or acts that they're all taken, So, but we found BB guns, and then we just made it plural for the fun of it. I think I was listening to like Pixies, the band at the time, and it just sounded cool. It sounded like a cool band, and like if you the name was like you weren't sure what it would sound like. Like it would make you want to like look into it and see what it's about.
It's
Okay,
provocative.
okay, nice, nice. And so you mentioned Mr. J.P. Pitt, the Pixies were you consider them an influence on you on the music that you're doing?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Maybe not always in sound, but absolutely in spirit. Always, like that kind of energy where you're mixing like punk things and aggressive things and noisy things, but then it's also melodic and like catchy and it's digestible. It's not like so noisy and obtuse that like a regular person can't get into it. I think that's like the line that we're always trying to ride is like we want to do something different and kind of experimental, but we want it to be digestible.
Okay, okay. And this question is for you, Mr. Blackman. Who are your influences?
That's a wide question because they come from all ends of the spectrum in the timeline of rap. Even going back to early days, like I'm a big fan of like Wu-Tang Clan. I love early Nas, early Jay-Z. The usual suspects there. I'm also really big into the 2010s mixtape rap, like late
Hmm.
2000s, 2010s mixtape rap. So Charles Hamilton, the Cool Kids, early Kid Cudi, Wale, basically a lot of people that are like higher tier rappers now. Loved and whenever they were first coming out then, and even still love some of them to this day. So like even like Kendrick Lamar, Freddie Gibbs. I'm trying to think of more people, but yeah, it's a big eclectic group. And then like Currency too, also, and even more recently, it's been I really have been digging Freddie's work recently, and even Larry June. Larry June has also been an influence to me recently.
Okay, all right. Dig it, dig it. Now, how did y'all two meet?
We actually are from the same area. We went to the same high school. He's a little bit
Okay.
older than I am. He graduated a couple years before me.
Just
So,
one. Don't get
so
it.
yeah, not to make it sound like you know what I mean, but yeah, he graduated before me. So, and then as the story goes, like I would walk around town with my headphones in, just listening to all sorts of different music. And
Hmm.
one day he was driving down the road and happened to like see me as he was driving by. And He saw me with my big ass headphones on and everything. And was like, "Oh, I wonder what he's listening to." Said he
Yeah.
messaged me
No,
on
that's
Facebook.
not the whole story. You were doing rap hands on the side of the road.
Yeah,
What it
that's
was.
yeah. I was doing the whole kit and
You were
caboodle.
rapping. You were rapping on the side of the road, and that's when I hit you up, and I'm like, hey, I want to get into rap. And like I was messing around with it at the time,
Hmm.
and then it's kind of that we just connected and helped each other learn how to record and learn how to lay down tracks and stuff like that. When we just kept working together from there.
Okay. Okay. Now, both of y'all, are y'all from Pittsburgh, born and raised in Pittsburgh, or?
We're way out in the outskirts. I'm living in New Kensington currently. We both grew up in
Yeah, we're
Breckenridge,
the
Natrona Heights area,
Trenum kind of area. And then I
further north
lived
on
in
28.
yeah, and then I lived in the city for a few years, but like Bloomfield kind of area. But and then I lived in also in New Kensington. We lived together for a few years as well.
Okay.
I'm in North for sales now though.
Norfolk says, okay, okay. And
Um,
oh, and speaking of New Kensington, how's the music scene in New Kensington?
These days, like
Yeah,
these days,
yes, yes.
I mean, do, do you want the honest answer,
As
or do you want
honest you
like the
can
nice
get.
answer?
all
I'll take,
music. There's
I,
things
I,
going on.
I'll
It,
take the honest answer. As honest you can be, my man.
I mean, as far as currently, there was a time where there were a few heads that were going ahead and doing their thing and even making their way down into the city like we were. But
Hmm.
honestly, right now, if it's not like there's Preserving Underground, but they do a lot more like rock music, like metal punk sort of music. But as far as
Hardcore.
like yeah, hardcore music too. But as far as like rap hip hop goes,
Hmm.
it's not really as much of a thing as it was not that long ago. I even tried like seeing who was like making posts and just asking around people that I knew, like, hey, who out here is rapping now, like who's doing it in general now, and it's like crickets. So
Hmm.
I would love to see more cats come out of here, though. It would be great to see this end of 28 in the valley really go ahead and get some rep.
Yeah. Okay. 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 And my next question is, I'm pretty sure both of y'all be seeing like the never-ending posts about Pittsburgh music and the support and the lists and all that stuff. Like, what's your take about the whole Pittsburgh music scene? What's your take? Because I'm pretty sure y'all be seeing y'all know y'all be seeing the list.
Oh,
Y'all be
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
y'all be seeing the posts like oh Pittsburgh this Pittsburgh that. It's like clockwork. It's like every time, like around this time, it always comes up. I'm like, oh my God, again, didn't we just deal with this last year? You know what I'm saying? So, in your honest opinion, what's your take on the whole thing, gentlemen? I want, one of y'all can go first. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'll
Joey,
throw it
good.
to my man.
Oh,
No, I'll throw
all
it to
right,
you. I answered the
all right.
last question. I'll throw it to you first.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, this comes up every. I feel like it was just like a few months ago. There was one of these, and then it just happened again. It's like anytime there's one of these, local public media like things, they make a list, and it's usually very like certain scene. That's the one thing about Pittsburgh is there's people think that their bubble is the hip hop scene, but there's actually like three or four bubbles of shit going on. Like you have the stuff that's based more in like the hood areas, and then you have stuff that's like based more in like the Bloomfield areas and stuff, and the South
mm-hmm,
Side, and just like they're based in kind of different sides of the city, and then also in the pockets of the internet. Because there's so many people that don't know us at all, and we've been doing this for a long time, but then there's young people that know us, and then there's older people from like the previous generations that know us. But it's kind of it's weird where you go one place and everyone knows your name, and then you go to another place and they're like, Who the hell are these guys? Um,
Yeah, and you're just going down the road, which is even funnier about it. Like you're literally going like 5 blocks down the road.
but just so that's as far as like the point of it. Like why get upset about it because you can't. Nobody's really knowing everybody, and Pittsburgh is a relatively small city. Like at the end of the day, you're not going to blow up just out of here, or if you do, it's super duper rare. You know,
Hmm.
how many times has it happened just out of the city? Like they didn't have to go somewhere else at some point, at some other city, New York or LA or whatever. And So I feel like you just have to eventually expand out, and like you need to get in touch with people in other cities and just plant your seed in other places, and especially with the internet and the algorithm, and like your shit gets sent out to who knows, that it's just not. There's no point in sweating these Pittsburgh lists. We're never on them. We're never on them, but we're doing okay. So I feel like that's a
Yeah.
testament to just do your thing
Hmm.
and believe in what you're doing. Joel, do you have anything on that?
I'm just kind of more or less the same thing. Like, I think it's foolish to go ahead and get like upset about it because it's just like representation of like this small bubble sometimes of what's really going on. I think it's interesting to go ahead and see those things just like you do in like even major publications, because then like you might see somebody on that list that you didn't know about, and that gives you an opportunity to get put onto them. Same thing with other people, but going ahead and getting upset because you aren't on it, or because there's someone else on it that you feel like you're nicer than, or that you have more better metrics than, anything like that, that's just corny. Just, you're better off just wait, just doing your thing, just keep moving forward, keep working, and as you continue to do that, you'll go ahead and get the real credibility, and
Hmm.
you'll get looked at by real institutions in the city and otherwise that are truly want and do champion music and art in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and the part of the country that we're in too.
And just to piggyback on that real quick is that's the thing about the reason I think these separate scenes and bubbles exist is because there's just different priorities of what people are trying to look to get out of their music. Like, is it like you trying to make like I don't know? It's almost like Drake versus Kendrick or something. Like the different schools of thought of what you want to get out of the of rap music. So is it like trap based? Is it like club based, dance based? Pop? Is it boom bap and lyrical? Is it some mix of any of that? And I think like we prioritize like the music, the art. That like that's what's important to us. And I'm not saying that other people don't prioritize their music, but it's just different. They want different things out of it. So I think it's just that's why we get sorted into these buckets.
Right. Right. Cause cause I'll be seeing the list on my feed every year around this time, and some artists be complaining like, "Who's this person? Who this person? I don't know this person. I don't know this person." And half of the people on the list I never heard of, but I'm not gonna knock their artistry. I'm not gonna knock the work they put in, because it's like,
Somebody likes them if they're
Exactly.
putting
yeah,
on that
somebody like,
list.
yeah, somebody likes them. I may not know who they are, but someone likes them,
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, you're not on the list, okay, big deal, you don't need. I look at it like this: you don't need a list to validate your artistry.
Exactly.
Artists are dope without the list. Whoever's creating that list, they want to put whoever they want to put on there, fine, do them. I'm not gonna complain. If I'm not on the list, okay, I'm not gonna complain. If I'm on the list, great. If I'm not, that's fine too. I just keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no
Mm.
reason to complain and bitch and moan about, well, how come I'm not on the list? Why I'm not on the list? I mean, okay, you're not on the list. Maybe you get on it next year or the year after that. Who cares? Just continue on doing do what you do and focus on your artistry. It's just a list. It's just a list, man. Just a list.
And
It's not like you winning
not
a
only is it
Grammy or
just a
something, you
not
know?
only is it just a list, but it's one list out of how many dozens, hundreds, thousands of lists of that kind that exist in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even like there's plenty of them that are just in the
Even
city
in the
alone.
city,
Like,
yeah. Even
yeah,
in
like
the city.
there's a bunch of them, and that's also coming from someone who, you know maybe like a decade ago or like a little bit over 10 years ago, if I would have been on one of those lists, I would have been one of those people to take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely understand the why behind it, but I think I'm at a point now in my life, like as a person and also as an artist, where it's just like I don't care about that list. What the
Right.
validation for me is whenever we get to go into when we go into certain spaces and we
Mm-hmm.
have the crowd fully engaged, and we can
Right.
go ahead and do all of the things and really and blow them away with our performance. So as long as we can continue to do that, I don't care about a list, none of that. The proof is
Right.
in the pudding.
Yeah, everyone
Definitely.
can't. You can't make everyone love you. You know, either.
Right.
That's
Right.
That part.
so you just do be
Exactly.
yourself, and you'll attract the right people. I think.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure you two dudes are attracting the right people to your music, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Yeah.
I I would
I
say so.
I guess
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
think
We're
so.
we
Uh,
do we're cool. We're like popular enough, and we do
Mm-hmm.
well enough to justify continuing to do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
after all this time, after
mhm.
taking a break and everything. So as long as they, as long as the people like it. Well, as long as we enjoy it first and foremost, like I'm always down to go ahead and keep doing this and keep BB Guns going. And as long as people go ahead and enjoy it too, the people are really holding on to it and are
Mm-hmm.
engaged, yeah, why not? There's no reason not to.
Right. Okay. Okay. And my next question is, sticking with the Pittsburgh music scene, what's your take on pay to play? What's your take? Are y'all for it or y'all against it? Because I asked a couple of artists that's in the city about it, and they gave me different takes on it. So I'm gonna ask y'all, what's your feelings about it?
So we have a long history of being against it, of being against
Okay.
it, because
Okay.
the world that we operate in, scene wise, there is
Mm-hmm.
no pay to play. Like that is frowned upon. Like it is all about putting together a show of talented artists that can attract enough people that want to see good music live, and like
Right.
they're not there just for a party or whatever. Like they're here to see music, and but apparently, and back in the day, Joel probably could attest to this even more than me. But we started up a kerfuffle. There is there would be normal all the showcases that people used to do probably like 10 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
they would be pay to play. It'd be like $50 for 10 minutes, $100 for 10 minutes, and we would just be like this doesn't need to exist. Like you can just if you just try to throw a quality show, give people more than 10 minutes, like so that they can like fully express themselves, like 20-minute sets, and then it just makes for a much better show overall.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not because what was happening back in the day is you would have shows where it was all artists. Like there would be no actual fans. It would just be like because there's 20 10-minute sets, so you'd be performing for 19
Mm-hmm.
other rappers. And it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we even doing this except for we're giving money to this promoter, and they're giving money to the bar, but they're pocketing money, and none of us are getting paid. And like every show that we do, we pay all the people we book. Like we share the money evenly with it's like you book 4 or 5 acts, and you split the money evenly. And the house gets some money. Like they get their cut first, and then we split what's left. And we try to do as much stuff as we can ourselves, like the flyers and everything, so that we can cut costs, so that we're not coming out of pocket. But if you and like it's easy to say throw your own shows, but it is easier than you think it is, as long as you go about it in like safe ways. You're not booking some giant ass room thinking that you're going to fill it up. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to start small. But yeah, I'm sure I could go about this all night. But Joel, I'll tag you in.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
stupid. It's predatory. It only
Mm-hmm.
exists to go ahead and make promoters money while going ahead and devaluing the work and the art of the artists that are doing it.
Right.
Like JP said, we did plenty of shows where you paid $100, and then they gave you some tickets, and the expectation was that you would sell those tickets, and then that
Mm-hmm.
would bring people in. And just with that, because and like being from out this way on this end of 28, one,
Mm-hmm.
people don't necessarily want to go ahead and go into the city anyways on a weekend because of having to go ahead and drive 30 minutes if not more sometimes to go ahead and get back out here. So that's number one. Number two, people don't want to go to a function that has 20 people performing for 10 minutes, especially when it's 20 people that they have no idea who the fuck they are.
Right. Right.
um so those are always like obstacles, and I've always been vehemently against it because on top of that, like,
Mm-hmm.
we work hard. Artists work hard. Recording costs money. Getting
Mhm.
merch made costs money. The least you can do is go ahead and break somebody off with some bread
Mhm.
for making your party smack. Like, you're not
Right.
asking, you wouldn't be asking me to go over here with you if you could
Mhm.
make your party smack. And even more so, if you really want to make your party smack, why not just go ahead and focus in on three, four, five people,
Mhm.
give them, and not that everybody, and I will also say this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut my thought off there, but like, not
Mhm.
everybody, this one popped in my head, I'm sorry, but,
No, you
and
good.
I understand the other aspect of it because not everyone is at the point where they have like the gusto and the clout and the
The
resume to
connections,
go ahead,
yeah.
the connections to go ahead, and if you go ahead and post, like 10, 20, 30 people are going to come out for you. So, like, there is a space that exists for things like showcases, like open
Open
mics, and
mics,
things like that,
yeah.
because
Mhm.
people need some, especially new artists, need somewhere to cut their teeth. That's how, doing those sort of things are how we were able to get better as performers and as musicians. But you don't have to be predatory about it. You can still go ahead and let people sign up on a thing for an open mic, even if you go ahead and give people 10, 15-minute sets and let
Mhm.
them cut their teeth. And I don't see why more people don't do that. I feel like there was a time where it started to happen, but then COVID happened and that sort of brushed that stuff all aside. There's a lot of things that got disrupted in the music and art scene because of that. But yeah, I think there's no reason to not pay people if you can, and I don't see why it has to be a predatory tactic. Well, I don't see
Mhm.
why we have to use predatory tactics in order to get by.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I admit I did the pay to play because I was excited to perform, but then I realized like, okay, what am I getting out of it? You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting nothing out of this. Okay, I'm paying to play, but I'm not getting nothing at all. And I was saying to myself, wait a minute, this is not right. You know what I'm saying? They taking money from the artists and we gotta pay them to perform. No, no, it's insane. If anything, the promoters should be paying you, the artists. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you in a band, like if you got a in a band, if you got multiple instruments like a guitar or a piano or whatever, they should be paying you, not the other way around. Because like for example, all right, you $50 for three songs. You get a if you win the contest, you get a visit from A&R, and I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they be doing that
That's the
too, and they
carrot.
be doing that. They be doing that. I'm like, man, there ain't no A&R coming in here, coming to the city, man. I doubt it. If they do, I'll be surprised. But I'm like, man, this is a bullshit. Excuse my French, because I just hate that. I just hate janky ass promoters in this city. And there's some, I ain't gonna name no names, but keep them anonymous. But I just hate that pay to play. I'm not a fan of it no more. I was, but it's it just turned me off now for sure. And I feel bad for some of the artists that's still doing that. I'm like, why? Why? What you getting out of it? What's the purpose? What's the motive? So that's just my take on it.
So like I feel like the issue is that, and I don't know where it starts. Obviously, it's the promoter part. Is they put it? I think people start putting making money part ahead of the music, and no one's like, I think we're all trying to sell each other dreams. Like, oh,
Hmm.
we're gonna pay for this set, and there's a chance that you could meet this guy who could maybe make you famous. And it's just like, that's not like, we need to let go of all that stuff of becoming famous and just be, in the music and the
Hmm.
community of all coming together and enjoying seeing other artists in our city perform for each other. And yeah, like there's gonna be a tiers to it, like your open mics where people have to cut their teeth and like make it to get into the next level.
Hmm.
Or to throw their own shows, or to have enough fans that they can bring out to a show. But like that, we need that kind of community. I feel like the Shadow Lounge had that, and then it
Yeah.
slowly, at the end of the Shadow Lounge era, it was a lot of more, the pay to play like started taking over. And because of Wiz and Mac, it was like, oh, anyone can make it here. Like there's
Mhm.
these two guys made it like just do this and you can make it too. And then there was this influx of so many people trying to make it and for the
Mhm.
wrong reasons, not because of music. And
Right.
it watered the whole scene down. Um, and I feel like then we were getting out of that where in our era, like in 2019, like that was our last kind of record era, and then COVID happened and then wiped it all out. We call it a rebuilding again in this new TikTok world.
Mhm.
But so you're still seeing these old things, pay to play come back, or you know what actually
Mhm.
it bugs me more than the shows is like paying to get like an article for like, oh, pay me $50 and I'll do an interview, or pay me $100 and I'll do a little video for you. And like I get that why that exists, but like back in the day we had this blog system with like Rep Pittsburgh Hip Hop and Brain of BMW, and like yeah, you could pay to get an ad on one of their sites, but they featured what they thought was good. They didn't just feature who paid to be on
Mhm.
it. Like if you're just
Mhm.
paying to be on it, then what's the point of reading? I don't want to read a magazine that everyone paid to be into because
Mhm.
there's no real curation. You know, there's no
Mhm.
real like taste making. And that's what the old scene had was the with the blog system that we had, the Shadow Lounge. Whammo was more involved, I feel like, back then, which they had more kind of more power. But yeah, it's just everything shifted, and I think that we kind of have to refine our footing with that. The principles of like, why are you doing this? Is it everyone need
Mhm.
to be rich? Everyone wants to be famous. Like we all can't be that. So just like take one step at a time, build up your artistry, build up your craft, build up your
Mhm.
fan base, and then take it from there. All right,
I
I'm off.
whole yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree wholeheartedly. And speaking of Mac and Wiz, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying that when Mac passed away and Wiz left Pittsburgh, that it kind of impact the Pittsburgh music scene. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that. I think that it only affects the music scene if you look at it as like these people are the pillars and the gatekeepers of getting you on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that is
even
true.
in their early days, whenever they were blowing up, like
Mm-hmm.
even at that, like they're still you just get to the next level, and then there's work that you got to do. Because like even look at Wiz now. Like Wiz put the work and has been working for years. And is now at this tier that he's at. Like he didn't just go from local to superstar. And the same thing with Mac. And if anything, if anything, I would say Mac's passing had more of an effect on a music generation because he was
Yeah,
someone that
like
was
the
being like a
world.
focal point that was
Yeah.
bringing all sorts of people of that time together. Like this dude was working with Odd Future and working with Thundercat and all of
Mm-hmm.
these
Kendrick
other
loves
just
them. Yeah.
yeah Kendrick Schoolboy, like the TDE folks loved Mac, and like that was their homie, like Vince Staples, like all of them cats, soda cats. So if any,
Yeah, yeah.
but even with that, I don't think them leaving hurt the scene. I
Mm-hmm.
think people having the notion that they could go through them to get to the next level is what hurt the scene.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
rather than people just going ahead and seeing them as like an inspiration to know that
Mm-hmm.
kids from little old Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the surrounding areas can do this music shit on a higher level if you just put the work in, you make quality art, and you
Mm-hmm.
just do the thing.
Grind.
Like
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
gotta do the thing. It's not gonna just land in your lap. Like you have to work. And even after you do the work to get to that next level, you have to continue to work to get to the level after that, and the level
Mm-hmm.
after that, so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth.
And it
Mm-hmm.
happens
So
fast for some people, but some people it takes the long times.
Yeah.
We're real into the underground scene, and some of these guys are like 40, and they're just getting on now. Like like a Lucid and like Boldy James, I think is a little older, and um,
Boy's 40 something.
yeah, it's just like that's how it is. I also I think that it did affect things because it just gave like less paths for people
Mm-hmm.
here to kind of have a connection to the upper tiers of the music industry. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I think like I agree with Joel. Like people would just like, oh, I'm gonna pay to go record at ID Labs so I can take a bunch of pictures with the plaques and Big Germ can mix my song. But like, and that's dope. And like there are people that had good music that recorded music there and it helped them get connections. But there's just people that thought that that was their ticket. Like all I have to do is pay this money and they'll hear me and then they'll want to make me famous. And that's just they can't do that for everybody. They hardly do it for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like the roster of Rostrum is small. It's all I hear about is Fed outside of Wiz. Um, and then Mac, yeah, like you said with Mac, I feel like more and more he moved out to LA and like he was just more a part of the global rap scene with all the big guys. I feel like the city like sleeps on like how good he is. Like sometimes I think that they do realize it, and sometimes like the way other rappers talk about him, is
Mm-hmm.
like he's one of their favorites or whatever. So it is a loss to music as a whole, but to the city itself, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I think that people just have to try to make do with what they can do themselves and make the connections as they go. And I don't know. You can't. There's no shortcuts, and there is. I guess it works for some people with a lot of money, rich people, but the majority of us ain't that.
Right. Right.
Even some of those rich kids, like we've seen plenty of them
Oh, they just
who
get
plenty of
milked.
kids that have money that can go ahead and buy their way onto these shows and pay the money to go to the big studio and pay to have merch
Nice
that connects and they have
videos.
the money and nice videos and everything, and they still didn't go nowhere further than where any of us did that didn't have that,
Yeah, they
or
just
they
get
didn't last,
milked by people.
or they didn't last as long. Like we are
Mm-hmm.
still here after all this time, and I can't think there's dozens, I would say even dozens of people
A
that we've
hundred
seen,
even.
yeah, that we've seen come and go from
Mm-hmm.
this shit around
Right.
here. Like, and it's
And no one
yeah,
talks
it's just
about
a
their
thing.
records. No one talks about their songs. Maybe they'll remember that they existed, but
Yeah.
like like they because they weren't focused on making timeless music. They didn't focus on the
Something
art. Like
they
they
wanted to
worried
make
about making
something
being
that would catch.
famous. Like then
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't resonate, and then it doesn't have that staying power.
Right. It's all about having staying power and making timeless music that will live on for decades and years and centuries to come. That's what it's all about. Make that
Facts.
timeless music that people that can connect with. You know what I mean? Not that cookie cutter bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, but music that can reach. How can I say? Music that can touch your soul. You know what I mean? Touch your heart. That's what I feel like. That's what's missing in some of today's music. You know what I'm saying? Like the music that I be listening to on the radio. I don't be. I don't hear it. I don't hear music that touches my soul and touches my heart, because it's like, yeah, sometimes I dread on listening to the radio because it's like, I don't feel inspired. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's just me. I mean, are y'all fans of today's music, some of today's music that's out right now?
There's plenty of music. I don't hate all the music that comes out. Like, there's still plenty of good music in the mainstream space that comes out. I
Mm-hmm.
always look at things more like everything has its place, right? Like, super,
Excuse me.
like, there are certain records, like,
Mm-hmm.
as like people call it, like scaring the hose music. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't play MF Doom at like a house party, but you
Mm-hmm.
can go ahead and play Doom like during like the smoke session whenever you're just chilling and you're just vibing with your people and it's all
Mm-hmm.
good. The same way
Mm-hmm.
that there might be places where you can't go ahead and play, people don't want to necessarily hear like a Drake record. Like, not to go ahead and, yeah, I mean, but some places you want to go and they don't want to hear that, but you go ahead and you take this to the other side and people will eat it like soup. So
Mm-hmm.
everything has a place. I don't think everything. I would like for everything to have like that heart and that soul to it, but there are plenty of people that in this world that whenever they listen to music, they just want to like throw their AirPods in and walk into Target, get their
Mm-hmm.
latte, walk through, buy some shit, and just have background noise and something that they can kind of come in and out of as they're doing their living their lives and doing their thing, and that's fine too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say like uh every era, every genre, I believe that there's good music at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
there's something about the world that we live in today where there is just like hot, because I think the TikTok way, the shorts thing, like the kind of content it encourages, there's a lot of corny stuff. Like there's a lot of just like what like cringe stuff that is just like for views and for
Mm-hmm.
like likes and oh, this is gonna bait people into interacting with this. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that encourages people to make stuff in a weird way, and I don't like that. There's plenty, like I said, plenty of records that I've like every year. But I have been thinking recently, and I kind of had this feeling when we've gone into making the record that Rust Belt that we're about to drop on the 16th, is I feel like music has gotten safe. Like I feel like there's not a lot of people trying to do something like dangerous or with some edge. Like people get edgy, but they don't. But when they get corny, it's hard to not have that. I feel like music in the '90s or other eras, '70s, '60s, whatever, had some like balance of edge and like, but it wasn't corny and it wasn't like, and it was catchy. Like people, like you would just want to put it on and bop to it. Like that's the kind of line that we want to try to ride. And I think that if people just get really comfortable and not like wanting to innovate or want to try things different or like make something that's maybe not so perfect. Doesn't need to be perfectly auto-tuned. It doesn't need to be perfectly mixed. It doesn't need to be industry quality all the time. Like it's just, does it sound good? Does the vibe feel right? And I think that's kind of how I feel.
I think I've
Yeah. No
and
question.
bouncing off that, like I think it goes from being like about music and art and becoming
Mm-hmm.
like rhythmic content, if that makes sense. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just turns into like you're making music to include the music in content, but
Mm-hmm.
instead of it being something that like uplifts the artistry, it just goes ahead and just becomes like safe and oversaturated.
Right.
And I think that that's the real problem. Is it's like the chase for chasing the magic dragon of virality. Like everyone's
Yeah,
trying to
it
go
makes
ahead
everything
and
a
make
joke.
something. Yeah, like and then because then just like JP was saying, then you have people doing like cornball shit or making like corny videos because they know someone will watch it and react to it, laugh at their cornball shit, but then that gets them engagements and maybe someone might hear that bit of a song and be like, oh well, I want to check this out, and then there's an off chance that you might go ahead and garner people. And it's not that people don't get people like that, but I think more so it. I guess it turns into something like, are they laughing with you or are they laughing at you? Like, are you aware that you're the meme and we're all just laughing together, or are you just trying to do this cringe stuff to get attention and everyone's just like making fun of you for doing it?
Right.
There's
Right.
obviously audience for it somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
There has to be. It
it's
works.
thrives.
It's working right now, so someone likes it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And my next question is your latest album, Rust Belts. So why'd y'all name that album Rust Belts? What's the premise behind that?
Rust Belt is the so we wanted that because we felt like we had taken a little bit of hiatus over COVID. After the last record, my mom died. His grandfather died a couple years ago. Just like changes in life and growing up, we were like wondered if we were even going to ever do it again. So like coming back, we've always kind of felt that we make, maybe we're not the most popular in the city, but we make some of the best music in the city. And so like that belt, the Rust Belt is the rusty, like we're a little rusty, but we're still dope.
Still the
We're
champs.
still the champs. But then also there's the second motif of like Rust Belt. Like you hear about the Rust Belt a lot around election time, and like the states like Pittsburgh and Appalachia and and down, into that. And I felt like it's kind of like a region that has some commonality and like blue collar kind of vibes, and an industry and metal and rust. And I feel like that those kind of textures are the kind of like influences for the sounds we were using on the going for on the record.
Okay, got you, got you. And I was listening to some of the songs on the latest album, and you know, it kind of reminds me of like '90s, alternative music, '90s indie, '90s hip hop. I can hear your music on. There used to be, I don't know if y'all familiar, MTV in the '90s was the shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the
R.I.P.
'90s.
MTV too.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to
MTV. That's
MTV.
over now.
Yeah, I'm still pissed off about that. That's I'm still pissed
It's
off, but
still
that's a good.
on here, but they just aren't playing any music.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
only the
yeah,
UK, but it's gonna
yeah,
die here too.
yeah. But that's another story. But there was a
Yes.
show on '90s on MTV in the '90s called Alternative Nation. That I think it was they play alternative music. I think at midnight I could hear your songs on that show, Alternative Nation. Because that was when music was music back then in the '90s on MTV. So I could hear those songs on that segment, Alternative Nation, for sure. Just my
We
thoughts,
probably
just my opinion.
we definitely fuck with probably whatever was on that.
Yeah.
'Cause we like grunge and indie rock, but we like the '90s hip hop a lot, like De La Soul and the Beastie Boys and Tribe Called Quest and
Hmm.
whatnot. Like experiment. We like trip hop too, like Massive Attack and stuff. And
Hmm.
so it kind of all. I feel like all that stuff has overlap, but but also I feel like people don't explore it as much as they could. Like that's been my whole thing, my whole fucking life. Excuse me, with
Hmm.
music
No, you good.
is I feel like that this was a moment in time that people were messing with these sounds that were close to each other, but they didn't just like fully make it a thing. Like
Hmm.
rapping on alternative sounds, and the raps are lyrical based, but there's like there's some guitar, there's some like noisy things, some experimental things. But yeah, that is you definitely hit the nail on the head with at least what we're going for.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And so, with your latest album, how many albums y'all dropped before this latest album? How many albums y'all did together?
Together,
Yes.
three as far as
Hmm.
BBGuns goes, but if we're being technical and we count the one early one, it would be four.
Yeah, you can't own. It was like a mixtape. We did a mixtape and three albums.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So where do y'all see yourself as BB Guns? In the years to come, where do y'all see your music doing in the years to come? In the
Gen-
future, in the future.
Genuinely couldn't tell you.
Okay,
Genuinely couldn't tell you.
okay.
Like I think we before we even started going about this era, like we sat down and had a very serious conversation about like what our expectations for each other are, what we're gonna do about the art, like what is it that we want at this stage in our lives out of the music. And I think that with this record, we've accomplished that because we really just like tapped in with each other and just made good songs until we
Hmm.
had enough that we were like, all right, let's go ahead and get this and start curating a real project. I think it could go either way. Like, we've kind of dismissed the notion of like making it per se in the sense of like we want to make a project and projects for the sake of making it to and blowing up. Like if that
Hmm.
happens, cool, like great. But I think we're both more concerned with like our personal lives, just trying to handle our business, take care of
Hmm.
our families, take care of ourselves, live our lives, and if the pieces so fall in that way that we can go to the next level and it makes sense and it's a feasible thing, then we'll see where it goes. But
Okay.
genuinely, I could not tell you.
Okay. That's an honest answer. I appreciate that honest answer. So gotta respect and dig that. You know what I'm saying? No doubt, no doubt. I wish both of y'all fellas the best. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all got dope music out there. You know what I'm saying? And we need that type of music in today's times. You know, especially the times we're living in. That good old fashioned, fun, happy music. You know, that's what's missing in today's music, in my opinion. You know, in my opinion, of course. So, you know, salute to y'all two gentlemen, you know, and keep up the good work. Your guys supporting me, and anybody that knows me on a personal level knows that I'm going to support dope and genuine artists such as yourselves and others, you know, because that's what it's all about, you know, supporting and also being a fan as well. You know what I'm saying? Being a supporter and a fan. So, you know, so you got that both in me. So for sure. So before we conclude this interview, gentlemen, how can they find you and follow you at?
You want to take that one, JP?
Yeah. So at BBGuns PGH is our Instagram and Twitter. It's bbguns.bandcamp.com is where you can buy our music and our merch. That's our merch store. We do have music on all streaming platforms. We do have a YouTube page as well. I think it's BBGuns PGH with a bunch of YouTube videos. And then we've been working on TikTok a little more recently, so that's BB Guns Music. But I think that's everything. But I wanted to thank you for having us because we need people like this too that support and they if that talk about stuff that they think is dope, and that's what helps scenes thrive and live. Especially with the Post Gazette leaving and the City
Yeah.
Paper leaving, we need more and
Hmm.
more media people talking about what they think is dope. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, pleasure's all mine. And, you know, pleasure is definitely all mine. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find me and follow me, you can find me on Facebook, my government, Malik Long. I have a page for my podcast, the Cool Podcast with the Cool Brother. And if you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can just hit me up on my podcast page on Facebook or my government page, Malik Long, and we can set up an interview and take it from there. I do video interviews like with these two gentlemen. I post it on my YouTube page, and you can catch the audio of the interview on Spotify. So, like I said, if you want to be a guest, please hit me up. And fellas, it was a pleasure having y'all on. The pleasure's all mine. And if y'all want to be a guest again for the second time, feel free to hit me up.
We'll
We
holler
can
at
go
you
for round two, no doubt, no
Let's
doubt.
for
And
do.
sure.
yes,
We can
and
talk about pay to play all night.
hey, I'm down for that, my man. I'm down for that. And on that note, I just want to say salute to y'all, and I just want to say have a blessed night and have a blessed day tomorrow and have a blessed weekend.
You do the
You as
same, my
well.
man. Appreciate
All
you
right,
once again.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
likewise, no doubt. Pleasure's all mine. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
See you.